Omegas were born at the bottom. At least, that's what the Iron Fang pack believed. And no one reminded Lyra Hale of that more than her packmates. Weak. Useless. Burden. Those were the names they spat at her as if she didn't hear the way her wolf whimpered inside her chest. But fate doesn't care about hierarchy. On the night of the choosing ceremony, when alphas selected their partners for future leadership, Lyra expected nothing but humiliation. Instead, the earth shook. The sky cracked open with silver fire. And the alpha destined to lead the entire territory. The ruthless, undefeated, terrifying alpha Thorn Blackclaw went still. His wolf froze. His breath hitched. His heartbeat collided with hers. Mate. The word echoed through the ceremony like a war drum. The pack gasped. The elders panicked. Thorn's eyes locked on her, dark, shocked, hungry. But the Omega they scorned took one trembling step back. Because destiny had chosen her. And the entire world had just become her enemy for it. If you love watching the most underestimated wolf rise into her true power, and watching the alpha who never expected a mate fall harder than anyone, this story is your next obsession. Comment, Omega no more, and subscribe, because Lyra's rise begins the moment she stops running from the mate bond. Lyra Hale learned early that wolves like her didn't get happy endings. Omegas were tolerated, not valued. Fed last. Trained least. Blamed first. Her wolf was gentle, quiet, more attuned to emotion than strength, traits the Iron Fang pack considered flaws. Lyra spent most of her life scrubbing floors, assisting healers, and pretending not to hear the whispers about how she should have been born human. But she survived. She endured. And secretly, she dreamed of more. Dreamed of a life where she wasn't someone else's stepping stone. The choosing ceremony was supposed to crush those dreams completely. On the night the pack gathered to witness Thorn Blackclaw choose a future Luna, some ambitious, powerful she-wolf who could match his strength, Lyra did what she always did. She hid at the back. She kept her eyes down. Her breaths shallow. Her hopes locked away. Thorn had no reason to even notice her. He was everything she wasn't, dominant, fierce, fated to lead one of the strongest packs in the region. His wolf radiated heat that shook the ground. His stare made warriors avert their gaze. He was destiny's chosen. She was destiny's forgotten. Until their worlds collided. Lyra didn't see the moment Thorn first scented her. She didn't see his shoulders lock or his pupils blow wide. She didn't see the grip he had on his own control shatter as the mate bond slammed into him with the force of a tidal wave. What she did notice was the sudden silence. The entire pack stilled. The air thickened. Her skin prickled. And then... You. Thorn's voice thundered through the clearing. Lyra froze. He pushed through the crowd, eyes glowing with raw, primal recognition. Look at me, he demanded. She did. And the world tilted violently. Heat shot through her chest. Her wolf, usually timid and tame, surged upward with a full-bodied howl. Mate. Lyra stumbled backward, terrified. Thorn reached for her, but she fled. Gasps erupted. Wolves shouted. Elders panicked. Warriors rushed to block her path, but she slipped through their arms like smoke. Because all Lyra Hale could think was, the pack hates me. They will never let this happen. And the alpha they worship will never choose an Omega. She didn't yet know that destiny didn't need their permission. Lyra ran until her lungs burned. Branches slapped her arms. Dirt kicked beneath her feet. The ceremony grounds faded behind her, swallowed by shadows and moonlight. Her wolf wasn't used to running like this, wasn't used to anything but keeping quiet in her own chest. But right now, even her wolf was panicking. He scented us. He saw us. He knows. Lyra stumbled into a clearing and braced against a tree, chest heaving. This couldn't be happening. Not to her. Not the Omega who blended into walls. Moon above, she whispered. Anyone but me. Her wolf whimpered softly, confused and hurt. Why not us? Why not you? Because I don't belong beside an alpha, Lyra said bitterly. Especially him. Especially Thorn Blackclaw. Everyone in the Iron Fang pack feared him. He was a walking storm, handsome in a brutal way, dangerous in a way that made grown warriors flinch. His wolf was said to be half shadow, half fire, born under an omen that marked him as destined for a crown larger than Iron Fang. And now the goddess had announced that she, the Omega no one respected, was his fated mate. A joke. A cruel twist. A disaster waiting to happen. Leaves rustled. Lyra froze. Then. Lyra. His voice rolled through the trees like thunder. Her pulse jumped violently. She backed up until her spine hit bark. Stay away. A figure emerged from the darkness, tall, broad-shouldered, built like a weapon forged by the goddess herself. Thorn. His eyes, storm grey with flecks of silver, locked onto her with breathtaking intensity. Even in the dim forest light, she saw the raw emotion in them. Shock. Recognition. Hunger. And something darker, something claiming. He stepped closer. Lyra pressed harder against the tree. Don't. Thorn stopped. Not because he feared her. Because he respected the panic in her voice. He lifted his hands slightly, palms open. I won't touch you unless you want me to. A shiver ran down her spine. His wolf pushed at the edges of his skin, wanting her, seeking her. She felt it like a warm pulse in the air. Lyra swallowed. This is a mistake. Thorn's brows lifted. You're saying the goddess made a mistake? Yes, she blurted. I'm nobody. Just an Omega. I can't fight. I'm not strong. I'm not. Stop. The word vibrated through her bones. Thorn stepped closer again, slowly, deliberately, until he stood a few feet away. You are not weak, he said quietly. Lyra laughed, broken and disbelieving. The pack disagrees. His jaw tightened. The pack is full of fools. Her breath caught. Thorn studied her face as if committing every detail to memory. I felt the bond hit. I can't ignore it. I can, Lyra whispered. Thorn's expression darkened, not with anger, but with pain. Why would you reject your own destiny? Because, her voice cracked. Because they'll kill me. Thorn's entire body went rigid. Who? The elders. The wolves loyal to tradition. They'll never accept me as Luna. Thorn took another step, voice low. They'll accept whoever I choose. Even an Omega, she challenged. His eyes flared with heat. Especially an Omega. Her heart fluttered traitorously. But fear still twisted inside her. Thorn, everything will collapse. They'll revolt. They'll exile me. They'll undermine you. His gaze sharpened. Let them try. The command in his voice sent chills across her skin. Then, softer, achingly so. Lyra, come here. She shook her head. I can't. You are my mate, Thorn said with quiet force. Not a servant. Not a ghost. Not a mistake. Lyra looked away, throat tightening. This can't be real. Thorn's voice dropped to a whisper. It's real for me. Lyra blinked back tears. He stepped closer, slow, careful, until his chest nearly brushed hers. Tell me honestly, he murmured. When you looked at me, what did you feel? Heat crept up her neck. Her wolf rumbled softly. Lyra whispered, I felt something. Thorn's breath hitched. The bond. I didn't ask for it. He brushed a knuckle down the bark beside her face, not touching her, just close enough to feel the warmth radiate. Neither did I, he said. But I'm not giving it up. Lyra's chest rose and fell rapidly. Thorn, if you claim me, you'll risk your future. Your pack. Your ascension. Thorn leaned in just enough that his scent, smoke, pine, storm, wrapped around her like a cloak. My future is you. Her knees nearly buckled. He studied her face, searching, waiting, hoping. Let me protect you, Lyra. She shook her head. I don't want to need protection. Then I'll help you become strong enough to never need it again. Her breath caught. His wolf pushed at her again, warm, steady, worshipful. Lyra whispered, why me? Thorn exhaled slowly, painfully. Because the moment I scented you, my world finally made sense. Silence. Charged. Fragile. Electric. Lyra's pulse drummed wildly. She didn't trust this. She didn't trust fate. She didn't trust herself. But she trusted the sincerity blazing in his eyes. She swallowed hard. If I go back with you, the pack will attack me. Not if they want to live, he said calmly. And the elders? I'll shatter their council before I let them lay a finger on you. And if I run again? Thorn stepped closer, this time fully invading her space, voice barely above a murmur. Then I'll follow you every time. Her wolf howled, claiming him. Lyra trembled. Because deep inside, beneath the fear and hesitation, she wanted him too. Wanted the bond. Wanted the strength of it. Wanted whatever future it promised. Finally, she whispered. If I return with you, I need one thing. Anything. Time. Thorn nodded slowly, eyes dark, voice gravel soft. I'll give you time. Space. I'll give you space. And freedom. Thorn's lips curved, not in amusement but in admiration. Freedom is yours. Lyra inhaled shakily. Then, her voice trembled. I'll walk back with you. Thorn's breath escaped in something like relief, raw, unguarded, reverent. He didn't touch her. He didn't claim her. He simply stepped beside her and said. Then let the pack witness the rise they never saw coming. Together, they began the walk back. The Alpha who feared nothing. And the Omega destiny had chosen to change everything. The walk back to Ironfang territory felt like stepping toward a battlefield. Lyra's throat tightened as the pack's northern border came into view, tall stone arches, torchlight flickering, guards standing rigid at their posts. Wolves who once ignored her now stared openly, murmuring, shocked to see her beside the Alpha. Thorn didn't slow his stride. Didn't hide her. Didn't try to soften the reality. He walked as if he were escorting royalty home. Every step shook Lyra's composure. As they crossed the boundary, the guards snapped to attention. One of them, a scarred warrior named Hadric, known for his cruelty toward Omegas, stepped forward. Alpha Thorn, he said stiffly. Who is the woman? He refused to look Lyra in the eye. Thorn's voice cut through the air like a blade. Her name is Lyra Hale. Hadric blinked, confused. The Omega. She doesn't belong. Thorn's wolf surged, heating the air. Finish that sentence, he growled, and you'll be picking your teeth out of the dirt. Hadric swallowed and stepped back. Lyra's heart pounded. His protection should have made her feel safe. Instead, it made her feel seen. Thorn glanced at her, just briefly, but his gaze was a promise. No one will harm you again. The pack grounds were buzzing when they entered. Wolves stopped mid-task, frozen in disbelief. A group of women whispered loudly from the communal well. That Omega. He must be bewitched. This ruins everything. The Luna was supposed to be Isolde, the Beta's daughter. An Omega can't stand beside an Alpha. Thorn turned, eyes glowing. The women shrieked and scrambled away. Lyra's hands trembled slightly. This is what I meant, she whispered. They don't want me. They don't know you yet, Thorn replied calmly. Not the real you. Lyra laughed softly. You don't know me either. Thorn's eyes softened. I know enough to trust destiny. Something warm fluttered through her chest. But the moment didn't last. The council hall doors burst open. The elders filed out in their ceremonial robes, their expressions stretched tight with fury and dread. Elder Myra was first to speak, voice sharp. Alpha Thorn. We sensed a bond disturbance at the ceremony. Tell us who your wolf has chosen. Thorn stepped forward. His broad shoulders blocked the moonlight, casting a shadow as commanding as his authority. I choose the mate the goddess gave me, he said. And who is she? Myra pressed. Thorn stepped aside. Lyra felt every eye land on her. Every whisper sliced at her skin. Every memory of humiliation pressed against her throat. She wanted to disappear. But Thorn placed his hand near hers, not touching, but close enough that she felt anchored. He said her name with pride. Lyra Hale. The elders gasped. Some wolves staggered. Someone dropped a clay pot that shattered against the stone. Elder Bram, the oldest among them, sputtered, an Omega cannot be Luna. The pack will riot. Thorn's voice deepened. The pack will adapt. Myra hissed, Thorn, be reasonable, Omegas are weak. They cannot carry alpha bloodlines. They cannot defend the territory. They bring misfortune. Lyra flinched at every word. Every one of them was something she'd heard her whole life. Thorn snapped. He grabbed the elder's staff and slammed its end against the ground. The earth cracked beneath the force. Do not speak of my mate with disrespect. Shocked silence. Lyra's breath trembled. Thorn never touched her, yet she felt shielded, wrapped in the fierce certainty of his protection. Still, she stepped forward on her own. This was her moment, too. Elders, Lyra said softly. I didn't choose this bond. I know your traditions. I know what the pack expects. And I know how little I mean to most of you. Several wolves looked away, ashamed or angry. Lyra lifted her chin. But I also know this, I'm not the girl you ignored anymore. And I won't apologize for destiny choosing me. Myra scoffed. Do you expect us to simply accept you? No, Lyra said calmly. I expect to earn it. The crowd shifted, confusion, surprise, curiosity. Thorn looked at her with something like awe. Myra narrowed her eyes. You? Earn the position of Luna. How? Before Lyra could respond, Elder Bram raised a shaking hand. There is one way, he said. The Luna proving. Gasps erupted. Lyra stiffened. What is that? Thorn's entire expression hardened. An ancient trial. Dangerous. Unnecessary. It hasn't been used in decades. Myra smirked. A Luna must withstand 3 tests, strength, spirit, and loyalty. If she fails any, the bond is deemed unworthy. Lyra felt her stomach drop. The crowd whispered wildly. An Omega can't survive those trials. She'll die. No alpha mate would allow it. This is the only way to stop the bond. Thorn stepped forward, furious. You will not demand this. But Bram shook his head. If you accept her without proving, the pack will splinter. Wolves will challenge your rule. This isn't about us. It's about preventing civil war. Thorn's jaw clenched until the muscles trembled. He stared at the elders like he wished to tear down the entire council. Lyra laid a hand lightly on his arm. He froze. The touch was barely there, but it steadied him, soothed him, focused him. Thorn, she whispered, if this trial is the only way they'll accept us. It's not your burden, he growled. You owe them nothing. But I owe myself the chance to prove I'm more than the Omega they scorned. Thorn's breath shook. The pack murmured, some impressed, some doubtful, some afraid. Myra smiled coldly. So you accept the lunar proving? Lyra inhaled deeply. I accept it. The crowd gasped. Thorn's wolf roared inside him, enraged and terrified. Lyra, this trial can kill you. She met his gaze steadily. Then don't let it. His breath stopped. Their wolves pressed against each other invisibly. Fear, longing, destiny tangled so tightly it hurt. Thorn turned to the elders, voice brittle with restraint. When does the trial begin? Elder Bram answered softly. Tomorrow night. Too soon. Too brutal. Too dangerous. But Lyra didn't flinch. I'll be ready, she said. The elders retreated. The crowd slowly dispersed, still buzzing with shock. Only when they were alone did Thorn finally breathe. You terrify me, he whispered. Lyra's lips curled faintly, not in amusement, but in newfound courage. Good, she said. Maybe that means I'm stronger than you think. Thorn's eyes darkened, not with anger, but with something potent and soul-deep. Lyra Hale. I think you're stronger than any of us ever imagined. As the moon rose over them, Lyra felt something shift inside her. Fear didn't disappear, but it transformed. Into determination. Into fire. Into the first spark of the queen destiny wanted her to become. The moon was still high when the pack finally dispersed, leaving Lyra and Thorn standing alone in the dim courtyard. The torches crackled softly, casting wavering shadows across stone and earth. Lyra felt the weight of dozens of stairs lingering even after the wolves had gone. She hugged her arms around herself, the night breeze chilling the sweat drying on her skin. Thorn watched her carefully. You're quiet, he said. Lyra huffed a tired laugh. I just agreed to 3 trials that could kill me. What do you want me to say? That you'll let me protect you. She turned to him sharply. I don't want protection. I want strength. His eyes softened, but there was something tormented beneath the surface. And you will have it. But Lyra, you have to understand something. She waited. Thorn stepped closer, lowering his voice. Those trials aren't designed for wolves like you. Lyra tensed. Omegas. No, he said. Wolves with compassion. His words struck her like a blow. Thorn looked away briefly, jaw tightening. The lunar proving is brutal. It tests savagery as much as resilience. Strength of spirit, yes, but also the willingness to dominate. To break. To command obedience. Lyra swallowed. And you think I can't do that? He met her gaze, raw honesty in his eyes. I think you shouldn't have to. Silence pressed between them. A wolf in the distance howled. Lyra looked toward the sound. If being lunar requires me to be ruthless, then maybe I'm not meant for it. Thorn reached for her, but paused, remembering her boundaries. His hand hovered inches away. Lyra, he said gently, you were chosen by the goddess. The goddess doesn't make mistakes. Lyra exhaled shakily. Then why do I feel like one? Thorn stepped closer, too close, warm breath stirring the loose strands of her hair. You are not a mistake, he murmured. You are a miracle I didn't expect. Her breath hitched. His eyes softened with something almost tender, almost reverent. Lyra stepped back abruptly, breaking the moment. I need time alone. Thorn nodded, though disappointment flickered across his features. I'll escort you to the guest quarters. No, she said quickly. If I'm going to survive these trials, I should walk alone. A muscle in his jaw ticked, but he folded his arms. Fine. But my wolf will shadow you from a distance. She rolled her eyes softly. Of course he will. He didn't deny it. Lyra wandered through the quieter outskirts of the pack grounds. The smell of pine and cool soil drifted around her. This had once been home, though it never felt like one. Now, destiny demanded she claim it. Her wolf paced inside her mind, restless. We can do this. Lyra murmured aloud, I don't even know what this is. Her wolf flattened its ears. Trust fate. Trust him. Him, Lyra echoed bitterly. The alpha whose pack already hates me. Her wolf huffed. Not him. Thorn. Thorn who follows us. Thorn who fears for us. Thorn who wants us. Lyra ignored the warmth that bloomed in her chest. She didn't want to rely on him. Didn't want to believe he cared. Didn't want to fall into a bond that had already thrown her life into chaos. So she slipped into the forest, needing space to breathe. Every step deepened her thoughts. How could she survive the lunar proving? Strength. She didn't have brute power. Spirit. She had survived cruelty, even if she came out scarred. Loyalty. To a pack that rejected her. Then again, maybe the loyalty test wasn't about the pack. Maybe it was about the bond. About Thorn. Lyra clenched her fists. Why couldn't the goddess choose someone easier? Someone powerful. Someone worthy. Because worthy is not the same as ready, her wolf whispered. And he needs us. Lyra blinked. Needs us. He's an alpha. Her wolf growled softly. And he is alone. That silenced her. Thorn, powerful, terrifying Thorn, lonely. The idea seemed impossible, yet, the moment she thought about it, she saw the truth. The way he protected her without trying to control her. The way he listened. The way he respected her fear. The way he suffered quietly when she stepped away. A giant who didn't know how to be soft, and yet became soft only for her. A crash snapped her from her thoughts. Lyra spun around. A figure lunged toward her from the shadows. A warrior. Large. Fast. Hostile. His teeth bared and claws extended. Lyra froze. Stay away from the alpha, he snarled, slashing toward her. You'll ruin everything. Lyra stumbled back, her foot catching on a root. She fell hard as the warrior loomed over her. Her wolf snarled, but fear paralyzed her limbs. The warrior raised his hand to strike. And a roar shook the forest. I warned all of you. Thorn. He hit the warrior like a hurricane, slamming him into a tree so hard the bark exploded. The aggressor howled, injured. Thorn pinned him with a single hand around his throat. Touch her again, he growled, voice shaking with rage, and I'll feed your bones to the river. The warrior whimpered. Thorn threw him aside like trash. Then he turned to Lyra. Fear evaporated the instant his eyes met hers, replaced by wild relief and terrifying anger. He knelt at her side, hands hovering. Are you hurt? Lyra shook her head. Just startled. Thorn glared after the fleeing warrior. He won't come near you again. Lyra stared at him. He looked wrecked. Breathing hard. Eyes glowing bright. Wolf frantic beneath his skin. You're shaking, she whispered. So are you, he murmured. Their eyes locked. Something shifted between them, heavy, magnetic, inevitable. Thorn, Lyra whispered. Yes. Her heartbeat hammered. I don't want to need you, she said softly. Thorn's breath caught. But I think, she continued, voice trembling, that I might. Thorn closed his eyes as if in pain. When he opened them again, they burned with something fierce and devoted. Then let me be what you need, he said. She swallowed. He extended a hand, not commanding, not demanding. Gently. Inviting. Lyra hesitated. Then she placed her hand in his. A spark shot between them, warm, bright, undeniable. The bond pulsed. And Lyra Hale, the Omega they scorned, realized something dangerous. She wanted to live. She wanted to rise. She wanted to claim her place, not for the pack, but for herself. And for the Alpha who would tear down the world before letting her fall. The next evening arrived far too quickly. The lunar proving would begin at moonrise, and the entire pack gathered at the proving grounds, an ancient arena carved into the earth, ringed by towering stone pillars etched with old runes. Torches blazed along the perimeter, their flames bending toward the center as if pulled by unseen power. Tonight, the goddess would watch. Tonight, Lyra Hale would either rise, or be broken. Lyra stood in the preparation tent, trying to steady her breathing. She wore simple training leathers, nothing ceremonial. Nothing grand. She didn't feel like a future queen. She felt like a girl about to be thrown into a storm. Her wolf paced inside her. We can do this. Lyra wasn't convinced. She had no super strength. No special magic. No warrior training to rely on. All she had was her will, and the strange, impossible pull of the mate bond warming her chest. A shadow moved behind her. Thorn. He entered the tent quietly, but his presence filled the space like thunder. His eyes roamed over her, checking, assessing, memorizing her as if preparing for war. Lyra, he said softly. She looked up, managing a weak smile. You're early. I didn't want you to face this alone. Her throat tightened. Thorn. I am facing it alone. That's how trials work. He stepped closer, slowly, giving her space to retreat if she needed it. Not alone, he repeated. Not while I breathe. Lyra's breath shook. You can't intervene tonight, she whispered. They made that very clear. Thorn's eyes darkened. If anyone touches you with malice, then I fail the trial, she said quietly. And the pack rejects me. Thorn's jaw clenched so hard she heard the faint crack of bone shifting. Lyra, he rasped, this pack has asked you to bleed to earn a place they already stole from you. I hate this. I hate them for forcing it. I hate myself for letting you walk into it. His voice broke. And Lyra realized. Thorn wasn't afraid she'd fail. He was afraid he'd lose her. The weight of that truth settled into her bones. She stepped closer, her fingers brushing the back of his hand. It was the first time she touched him without fear. Thorn froze. Thorn, she murmured, I'm doing this, not because the pack demands it. I'm doing it because I need to know who I am. He swallowed, eyes locked on hers. And who are you? Lyra inhaled deeply. Someone worth fighting for. A flicker of pride, and something far more dangerous, lit his gaze. He leaned in, forehead nearly touching hers, breath trembling. You are worth everything, he whispered. Her heart thudded painfully. A horn sounded outside, the call to gather. Thorn's expression shifted instantly, snapping back to alpha mode. It's time, he said. Lyra nodded, exhaling once more before stepping out into the torchlit arena. Thunderous whispers rippled through the crowd as she entered. An Omega. She won't survive. This is madness. The Alpha lost his mind. Lyra ignored them. Her wolf lifted its head proudly. Let them watch. Let them see. The elders stood at the front, wearing ceremonial cloaks. Myra held the proving staff, a silver rod topped with a crescent moon symbol. "Lyra Hale," she announced, her voice echoing off the stone walls, "tonight you face the lunar proving. 3 trials. 3 truths. 3 chances to rise, or fall." Lyra stepped into the center of the arena. Thorn stood at the edge, eyes locked on her, fury simmering beneath the surface, but disciplined enough not to move. Myra lowered the staff. Trial 1, Strength. Survive the North Fang. A cage door at the far end of the arena opened. A monstrous wolf lumbered out, 3 times larger than a normal wolf, with thick black fur and battle scars carved across its body. Its growl shook the pillars. Lyra's blood froze. A trial wolf. These beasts were raised for one purpose, to break challenges. The pack murmured nervously. Even some warriors stepped back. Thorn snarled. "This is excessive." "It is tradition," Myra countered. Lyra's pulse hammered. The wolf charged, massive paws thundering across the dirt. Lyra barely dodged, rolling aside as claws slashed the ground where she'd just been standing. She scrambled to her feet, breath ragged. The trial wolf was already turning, eyes burning with predatory focus. Lyra had nothing. No claws sharper than his. No strength to match him. No training to rely on. But she had one thing. Speed. Her wolf screamed inside her. "Move." She sprinted as the wolf lunged. He crashed into a pillar when she ducked behind it, shaking dust loose. Lyra grabbed a fallen torch from the arena wall and swung it. The wolf leapt back, startled by the flames, but only for a moment. He attacked again. Lyra dodged, but claws grazed her arm, slicing skin. Pain flared hot. Thorn's roar echoed across the arena. Lyra stumbled, torch slipping from her hand. The wolf advanced. And something inside Lyra snapped. Not fear. Instinct. Pure, primal instinct. Her wolf surged upward, radiating an energy she'd never felt, strong, sharp, refusing to break. She stepped forward instead of back. The wolf hesitated. Lyra growled, a low, vibrating sound that didn't belong to an Omega. Her aura flared, glowing faintly gold. The trial wolf blinked, then lowered its head. The crowd gasped. Myra whispered, horrified, "Impossible." Lyra took another step, and the giant wolf backed away, whining softly. It recognized her. It submitted. Lyra Hale, the Omega no one respected, had dominated a beast designed to kill her. Thorn exhaled a trembling breath, eyes blazing with awe and longing. Lyra straightened. "I am not weak," she said quietly. Myra swallowed hard. Trial 1, complete. The arena buzzed with disbelief. But Lyra didn't get a moment to rest. Myra lifted the staff again. Trial 2, Spirit. Reveal your inner truth. A swell of silver mist enveloped Lyra, pulling her into a vision realm. She landed in darkness. A figure appeared before her. Herself, small, trembling, afraid. "Why are you here?" the younger Lyra whispered. Lyra's heart ached. "To stop being afraid of you." The girl stepped closer. "Are you sure? You've spent years hiding." "I'm done hiding." The younger Lyra dissolved into light. A second figure formed. Thorn. But not as she saw him. This Thorn was wounded, bleeding, reaching for her. She stepped toward him. And the ground cracked open between them. A voice echoed. "Will you choose fear, or faith?" Lyra stared at Thorn's fading form. No one could make this choice for her. Not the elders. Not the pack. Not even Thorn. Lyra placed her hand over her heart. "I choose faith," she whispered. Light erupted. She returned to the arena, on her knees, trembling, crying but smiling. Myra stared at her, speechless. Trial 2, complete. Trial 3, Myra said finally, voice unsteady, tests loyalty to the bond. Lyra inhaled sharply. A blade appeared in Myra's hand. Choose, she said. Your freedom, or your mate. Lyra's blood iced. Thorn tensed violently. Lyra. But she already knew. She stepped forward. Took the blade. Turned to Thorn. And dropped it at his feet. I choose him, she said. Thorn's expression broke, and reformed into something stronger, fiercer, wholly undone. Myra closed her eyes. Trial 3, complete. Silence. Then. Every torch in the arena flared upward as if touched by divine fire. The goddess's power swept through the grounds, warm, fierce, approving. Lyra Hale stood tall, blooded, exhausted, glowing. Not an omega. Not a mistake. A queen. Thorn crossed the arena in 5 strides, cupped her face, and whispered. Lyra, you rose higher than anyone ever dared to dream. She looked up at him through tears. I rose because I had something worth rising for. He kissed her, slow, reverent, overwhelmed. And the pack that once scorned her bowed their heads to their new Luna. The arena was silent, utterly, reverently silent. Every wolf bowed. Not because Thorn commanded it. Not because the elders insisted. Because Lyra Hale, Omega-born, overlooked, dismissed, had just completed the Luna, proving with a strength none of them had possessed the courage to witness before tonight. Lyra stood in the center of the arena, chest rising and falling with each trembling breath. Sweat dampened her hair. Blood streaked her arm. Dirt clung to her boots. But her eyes burned with golden fire. Thorn approached slowly, like a warrior approaching a sacred altar. His wolf was practically shaking the ground beneath him with pride. He reached her, breath unsteady. Lyra, he said softly, look at me. She lifted her gaze. The entire world stilled. Thorn cupped her face gently, reverently, as if she were made of divine flame. His thumbs brushed away streaks of blood from her cheeks. I have never, he whispered, voice breaking, seen anything as extraordinary as you. Lyra laughed weakly, tears forming. I thought I was going to die in the first trial. Thorn's voice hardened with emotion. You dominated a North Fang beast with nothing but instinct and spirit. Do you understand what that means? Even my beta can't do that. Lyra lowered her gaze. I didn't dominate it. I connected with it. Thorn smiled, the kind of smile that only warriors gave to those they admired deeply. No, he murmured. You led it. Her breath trembled. I'm not a leader. Lyra, he said, brushing her cheek, you just led an entire pack into silence. Her wolf purred with fierce, newfound pride. The elders stepped forward. Myra, for once, looked shaken, not with anger, but with awe. She bowed deeply, shockingly, and spoke for the council. Lyra Hale. Iron Fang recognizes your victory. Your courage. Your spirit. You have completed all 3 trials. We acknowledge you as Luna. A ripple moved through the crowd, approval, acceptance, respect. Lyra exhaled slowly. It wasn't the words that mattered. It was the shift in the air. The shift inside her. The shift inside them. For the first time in her life, she was seen. Really seen. Thorn took her hand and raised it high. Bow, he commanded. Every wolf dropped to their knees. Every warrior lowered their head. The torches bowed their flames toward her as if the goddess herself demanded it. Thunder rolled across the sky, not the sound of a storm, but the echo of power radiating from the bond she had chosen. Thorn leaned in, voice soft enough for only her to hear. Ready to be queen? Lyra swallowed. No. He blinked. She smiled softly. But I'm ready to learn. The relief in his laugh nearly brought her to tears. Good. Because ruling beside me won't be easy. Lyra squeezed his hand. Nothing important ever is. After the proving, the pack gathered for the Luna's Ascension Feast, an ancient tradition marking the rise of a new leader. Warriors lined the pathways. Children peeked from behind their parents' legs. Elders lit fragrance torches. And Lyra, freshly bathed, hair braided with silver threads, walked beside Thorn into the great hall. Wolves parted for them in silent reverence. Thorn leaned down. They stare at you more than they stare at me. Because they're shocked, Lyra whispered. Because they're in awe, he corrected. As they moved through the hall, wolves murmured, softly this time. She's the one who faced the North Fang. I heard she submitted it without touching it. She glowed during the second trial, like the moon herself. She chose the Alpha over her own life. She's stronger than we ever knew. Strong. The word warmed Lyra's chest. The feast began with rituals, songs sung in Old Wolf tongue, candles lit for the goddess, offerings placed on the altar of unity. But the true moment came when Thorn stood, lifting a ceremonial blade, the Alpha's mark. He turned to Lyra. The hall silenced instantly. Lyra Hale, he said, voice echoing across stone and wood, you faced death, truth, and destiny. And you rose. Not because you were chosen, but because you chose yourself. Her breath hitched. And now, he continued, lowering the blade to her shoulder, I ask not as Alpha, but as your mate. The crowd leaned in, holding their breath. Will you rule beside me? Lyra closed her eyes. Her entire life, every cruel word, every humiliating chore, every lonely night whispering to a wolf who barely answered, had led to this moment. She opened her eyes and met his gaze. I will, she whispered. The blade glowed softly. Light flowed from it to her shoulder, marking her not with pain, but with warm, radiant acceptance. Rise, Lyra Hale, Thorn commanded softly. Rise as Luna of Iron Fang Pack. She rose. The hall erupted in howls. Thunderous, joyful, wild, ancient. Wolves stamped their feet. Warriors pounded shields. Elders bowed. Lyra stood at Thorn's side, the mate bond thrumming between them like a living flame, stronger than anything she had ever known. Thorn leaned close, voice rough with emotion. Lyra, you have no idea how long I've waited for you. She blushed, heart racing. I didn't think you wanted someone like me. Thorn cupped her jaw gently and whispered. I didn't want someone like you. I wanted you. Only you. She inhaled sharply as warmth flooded her. Then don't let me fall, she whispered. Thorn smiled, a dangerous, soft, reverent thing. Never. Not while the goddess allows me breath. Their foreheads touched. The hall howled louder. And Lyra Hale, once scorned, rejected, forgotten, lifted her chin high. She was no longer Omega. She was no longer small. She was Luna. She was destiny touched. She was the Alpha Queen they never saw coming. The wolf they crushed rose from the ashes, crowned by fate, claimed by her Alpha, and destined to rule a world that once tried to break her.